Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a kind of, I guess, new League of Legends video, sort of, kind of. Either way, I wanted to make this video. I feel like this video is long overdue. Kind of giving you guys more or less an update as to essentially what's happening, why I've stopped uploading, if I'm going to continue uploading, is this the end, that's it, am I done, what's next, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like a lot of people, I mean, hopefully, I don't know, maybe not, honestly, maybe no one cares, but maybe we're wondering, what's going on with that, right? Because again, I've been pretty consistently uploading League of Legends videos, I mean, for like years at this point. Like, it's pretty much been my job for, what is it, like 11, 12 years, something like that. It's unbelievable. Like, technically about a third of my life. My goodness, that's almost insane. Not almost, but it is insane. Anyway, the point is that I want to kind of talk about this. Now, before I fully dive into that, very, very quickly, I want to actually give you guys, or ask you guys if you think this is a good idea. So I have an idea for a new series that I kind of want to do, where essentially it's not like gameplay related, but it is like League of Legends related, where I would upload a video giving my personal thoughts on League of Legends streamers. So in the comment section below, for instance, you guys can write down like a list of, like, let's say, I don't know, 5 streamers that you want me to give you, like, essentially my personal, like, honest thoughts, pretty much like unedited or like just raw, unfiltered, whatever. And I don't know, I just thought it would be an interesting thing where I'll just, I'll give you my opinions or reactions or whatever to like streamers and what I think of them as a person or as a streamer or both, whatever. And I don't know, I just thought that might be a cool idea, just because the thing is I've been in this scene since like pretty much the beginning. So I've seen like the ups and downs of, the league itself, content creators, falling in and out constantly. Like, I've been around since the beginning, right? And I'm still technically here. So I thought it would be interesting. If you guys want that, let me know by hitting the like button and leaving a comment below of, like, let's say 5 streamers that you want to hear my opinion about, or my honest opinion about, and I'll say whether or not I think they're a good streamer, bad streamer, person, good person, bad person, whatever, all that stuff. I think it'll be interesting, mainly because honestly, the thing is, like, I don't really rely on YouTube as like a source of income anymore. So I can just say things as they are, and if someone gets butthurt about it or whatever, in all honesty, I couldn't care less. Obviously, I'm not gonna be like purposely mean or anything, but you know what I mean. Like, if someone in the comment section is like, "Oh my god, how dare you make fun of my favorite streamer?" Sucks to suck. I don't care. So I thought that'd be cool. Anyways, so let's just get into the video and let's see what's going on, what's next. So first and foremost, I'm not fully quitting. I'm not gonna just completely stop uploading, but that does not mean that I'll go back to uploading the way I used to either. The thing I still wouldn't mind and kind of, still enjoying uploading, and I kind of want to get back to, is uploading stuff about, like leaks, news, maybe reworks, like new stuff about League of Legends. Not so much literal gameplay of just like, for instance, the Road to Challenger or Journey to Challenger. Mainly because, and I'll talk, this is the main portion of the video, the game is just like atrociously bad, and it's like it's kind of cringe at how bad the game is, in all honesty. So I'll talk about that and why that is and what's my opinion on all that stuff. And I essentially just don't want to make videos on gameplay in terms of ranked and whatnot, other than maybe PBE stuff, new stuff here and there. Eventually, of course, again. I'm also very into stocks. I got very into stocks. I'm like, that's pretty much what I do as my main thing now. I think it's extremely fun. I actually have a second channel that I started uploading Tesla stock stuff, like technical analysis stuff. If you care about that, I'll link it below if you care. If not, then whatever. But let's just get into the meat of the video. So first and foremost, I have a few bullet points I wrote down here, but this is more of like an unscripted video. But obviously, I've been playing League since season 1. I've been around the scene since essentially the beginning, not the absolute beginning, but pretty damn close, right? Some people like view me as essentially the grandpa of League of Legends and content creation in the League scene, etc. Because I've just been here almost since the start. I'm like one of the first people that started League of Legends content, essentially. Not the very first, of course. There are some like even more like OGs than me, but they aren't around anymore. So I don't know. I guess I'm technically the most OG still around. Maybe, I'm not sure, honestly. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that why have I stopped uploading? Why am I not uploading? Where are the videos? Where's the Journey to Challenger? Plain and simple, the game is literally, like, I'm not even over-exaggerating. I literally mean this. It's probably in the worst state I have ever seen it. Ever. And again, this is coming from someone that's played since like season 1, maybe even slightly before, I don't remember, but essentially since season 1. The game is horrible to play right now. I'm sorry. And like, I hope a writer watches this, and I hope writers see this, because your game sucks. I'm sorry to say this. Like, I love the game. I love like League of Legends, like itself, like the IP and what League of Legends is. But the game overall, I'll talk more in depth about it. I don't want to just sound like I'm just being like a salty person or something. Like, I will explain my reasoning. But League of Legends itself is great. I love League of Legends. Like, League of Legends itself, like the IP, the world, the characters, the universe, phenomenal. Like, seriously, I love it. And I want more League of Legends. I just don't want League of Legends. The game itself, like League of Legends. It's just horrible. So, You can make an argument that I think the game is horrible because, I've been playing for so long. I'm just maybe burnt out. I'm bored. And I mean, that is potential. There's definitely some potential that some of my, resentment, if you will, is because of that. But I really don't think that's the main thing. I really just truly believe the game just sucks. I'm not someone that'll just stop playing it because I'm bored. I mean, I guess I would, but like, it doesn't feel like that's the reason. It really just feels like the game is it truly is just mentally taxing in like the worst way possible. It's just not fun, and I'll get into that like pretty much right now. So the game itself, I do want to say this actually. Okay, so the small differences. So the game itself, like the raw game itself, like just literally strip down the League of Legends to the raw bare bones of just League of Legends and what it is as a game. It's not horrible actually. The thing and there are issues, don't get me wrong, I'll talk about that as well. There's definitely issues, but it's not like atrocious. The main thing that makes it atrocious is the player base. The player base and how Riot is handling the player base. That, in my opinion, is by far the worst thing about League of Legends. And the problem that I see, that I'm predicting, is the fact that it's not fixable. I don't think it's fixable. Well, again, I don't think it is personally, but there's people that supposedly get paid at Riot Games to find a way to fix it. I'll be honest, I feel like that doesn't exist. I feel like these people are getting paid to breathe air. I'll be completely honest. That's just straight up. If you work in the behavioral team, straight up, no cap. Like I don't care if this is mean. I legitimately think they get paid to breathe air because there's been literally next to no improvements. Nothing, just nothing. It's just a non-existent team. What are they getting paid for? Beyond me. I have no idea. But nonetheless, so the way Riot's handling and the toxicity. So essentially the main issue behind this, in my opinion, there's a couple things, but then one of the main ones is there's too much teamwork that's in League of Legends now because they're making the game more and more teamwork focused as opposed to solo carry. You can still solo carry, but it's just not much. It's not as common anymore, right? It's much more team oriented now. So they're essentially making the game substantially more team oriented, pretty much every season at this point, without the right tools. Like for instance, there's no voice comms, and I know there's arguments, pro and against voice comms, but there's also it's in this weird middle where there's no voice comms, so people that want voice comms are upset, like myself. But then there's also the other side of the argument where it's like, well, just if they either have one of the two, either have voice comms and just give us like all these communication tools, or just literally remove it all. Like we're in this weird middle where we kind of have some of it, but not enough of it, but enough to make it bad. And no one's really happy because the people that want voice comms, it's not there. They're unhappy. The people just want chat entirely removed. Well, they're not happy because you can make the argument, oh, well, just mute the chat. And of course, that'll help you. But that doesn't mean everyone on your team is going to mute the chat. They're still going to be playing the game, and they're still probably going to be raging at each other in the team and or to all chat. And that's going to reduce their, ability to play the game properly and, to think logically and, without, some form of stress related to it. And, of course, stress and tilt and et cetera is going to completely hinder your ability to, logically think out how to maybe actually probably win the game or actually care about finishing the game. It's going to get into your emotions. And anger is a very powerful emotion. Hate is a very, very powerful emotion. That's why news medias always report on bad things, not good things, because that's how you get clicks, right? Hate and anger, very, very, very powerful emotion. And essentially the chat is just abusing that. That's pretty much all it is. If you remove chat, well then, and maybe make it emotes only or something like that, kind of like, Hearthstone or Runeterra or things like that, I think that'll be better. Or just give us voice comms. Give us one of the aspects, one of the like angles. Don't just put us in this weird fucking middle ground and then have a quote unquote behavioral team that apparently gets paid a salary, which is mind boggling to me, to literally breathe fucking air for like 5 years or whatever the amount it is, because there's been literally nothing happening at all in that department, literally. And every now and then they release these posts saying all these things, but they're just talking. It's just talk. Then they implemented this thing where you can like ban or report people in champs like. Then apparently they said that, oh yeah, by the way, that was just a test feature. It doesn't actually do anything. I don't know. It's just cringe. It's really pathetic. In all honesty, like I don't care anymore. Like it's fucking sad. It's really cringe. So that's kind of the issue with the whole teamwork thing, right? The game is just extremely toxic because it's very teamwork oriented, and if you don't have teamwork, then you're gonna fall apart. And we don't have the tools to work with the way they want us to do teamwork. Essentially, we don't have the tools to fulfill that requirement. Essentially, on top of that, people just don't get punished enough, and a player can just enter game without making it seem intentional and just not type. Because the issue is one person can completely ruin the whole game. That's all it takes. All it takes is one person that just maybe gets butthurt, gets camped too much, maybe someone says something bad to them. They can completely ruin the game. And it will be extremely hard to out carry their level of inting or griefing, whatever. It's extremely difficult, right? It's very difficult to outcarry that unless you're like a challenger smurfing in silver or gold or whatever. It's extremely difficult if you're playing in roughly your elo range, which even now is also a weird term to say, like, what is your elo range? Because right now it just feels like it's weird because the game quality is so bad that it's like, who knows where your true elo range is, because not even half the games, most of the games aren't even like determined by your performance anymore. It's just very strange. So the issue is people can just intentionally grief games, but it's very easy to do it without making it look intentional. And as long as you don't type, especially, or you type extremely little, and especially if you don't type anything racist, you're probably not going to get banned. Because it's, of course, I'm not saying it's an easy problem to fix. It's a hard problem to fix. Like, how do you prove the fact that this person was intentionally feeding as opposed to having a bad game? How do you prove that? It's very difficult, right? I'm not saying it's an easy problem to fix, but it's been literally fucking years, and people get paid a salary to do nothing. That's at this point, it feels like. Anyway, and the issue with that is that it gives people like this kind of like power complex kind of feeling, or whatever it's called, where, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm part of the problem now. Like, it's hard not to be part of the problem when you play the game as much as I did, and it just constantly happens around you, right? The environment influences you, right? And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've been part of the problem. I've been playing on, before, when I still played often, I played on an anonymous account when I streamed on Facebook still. And I'm not gonna lie, half the games I would just, if someone did something that annoyed me, I would literally just end the fucking game, and I just don't care. Why? Because it felt damn good. And I became part of the problem as well. And I was aware of that, but it's hard not to when it just feels like it's happening all around you. And it's hard to just be that one good guy that tries to be like, all righteous and stuff when it doesn't do anything. And it just makes the game even harder to enjoy. But the thing about inting is that it gives you this power complex where, I'm not gonna lie, it feels fucking good. Like, it feels great that you have these 4 other people, like, they're in the palm of your hands, and you just control their fate this game, essentially. That's essentially what it is, and that's why everyone does it. Because it's easy, it's easy to do without getting banned, and it gives you this sense of power over other people, which is like just a human emotion naturally, right? It is what it is. But the point is that until that's somehow fixed and reduced, the game is only going to get worse. And as more people start realizing that you can do this without getting banned, it'll snowball and snowball. It's already snowballing substantially over the past couple seasons, and it's only going to get worse until these people do something, literally something. So overall, the point is the fact that the toxicity has just gotten worse, and I've never seen it this bad. Ever. In all the years I've been playing League of Legends, I have never seen it this bad. So again, as long as you don't type racist stuff, you're probably not going to get banned. As long as, you don't just intentionally run it down, you just purposely play extremely poorly. And, it could be just a bad game, right? And it's extremely easy to do that. And a lot of people are just doing that because a lot of people are realizing they can do that. They're realizing they don't get banned, and they're realizing how friggin' good it feels to just put 4 other people's fate, essentially, their LP in the palm of your hand. And just that power complex, or it's just, whatever it's called, I think it's called power complex. It truly is a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie, as toxic as that is, it's a good feeling. And until Riot decides to somehow, finally cut that off, it's gonna keep happening. That's just literally human nature. I'm sorry, but it is. So they need to do something, or else this game is just gonna continue spiraling down like this. On top of that, one of the also root problems, and I'll briefly touch this, is autofill. I talked about this in a video like a few months ago, but I think autofill is probably the laziest, worst system I have ever seen in my entire life. The system is atrocious. Whoever just thought of the system should hopefully is fired by now. But the system is atrocious. It's just a lazy bandage fix, because all it does is essentially, we don't have enough players, we'll just shove someone here, and then whatever, fuck it, we'll see what happens. And that's essentially what kind of gives League of Legends this kind of casino gambling type feel, where the game is usually over in Champs Select, because if someone's autofilled in a bad role that they can't play, the game's over. For instance, I use this example all the time. Imagine you're playing in, I don't know, Masters, Challenger, whatever, and let's say you have a support player that literally only plays support on your team, autofill jungle, and the enemy team has Tarzan jungle, and Tarzan is actually playing properly. He's not like tilted out of his mind like he usually is. He's probably going to absolutely fucking shit on that person, let's be honest here. Unless that person, I mean, not guaranteed, but there's an extremely high chance he will absolutely decimate that person if he knows he's autofill, or that other person is autofill. How will he know, by the way? OPGG. That's another thing. Maybe you should remove things like op.gg. Maybe you should remove summoner names. Make the game, like, not related to just, so you know who's on your team. It's just related to, this person is playing this champion. I don't know who it is, but this is the champion. That could be another solution. But the point is that it's like, he can see that, this person's autofill. He's probably going to steamroll the fuck out of that person. And that's just an example of just how autofill is horrible. It should be, like, balanced around the fact that it should be the same type of autofill, or, like, based on from where you're autofill to what role, because, you know, a mid laner autofill to top lane is not the same as a support autofill to jungle. It should have like a different value of how much of a hindrance that is to the team in theory, based on, you know, past performances. And all that should be taken into account. And then it should be equalized as much as possible between both teams. That's probably not happening at all. Like, let's be honest here. And the system sucks. So that was a big rant I have about that stuff, I guess. Next, we're going to talk about the game itself. Now, I did mention earlier how I think the game itself, like at a raw state, the balance, whatever, it's not great, of course. But it's really not horrible. Like, it could be a lot worse. Like, I will say that. It could be a lot worse. So, the bouncing and all that could be a lot worse. The main issues, in my opinion, though, the main issues of, like, the game itself, like, you know, taking away all the toxicity, the player base, all that bullshit, all those like systems like autofill, taking all that aside for temporarily, just the game itself. I think personally, at the moment, the biggest issues are the new champions and reworks. I think that, and potentially you can start making an argument for items and stuff. There are some items that are just completely ridiculous, like Death's Dance or whatever it was in, I think, Sterax. I don't know what it is at the moment. I haven't played, honestly, for a couple months. Sterax is just completely busted. Like, you know, they always... Riot literally has a hard-on for, like, tanky items. I don't know what it is. Like, Triforce has been... I don't know. They have a hard-on for tanky type items. Like, Sterax is the perfect example. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, what is that item? But I think overall, in my opinion, the biggest issue is new champs and reworks. Not all of them, but most of them. What do I mean by that? So, every new champion that Riot makes nowadays, and reworks, whatever, they essentially try to make the champion's kit have some, like, crazy, disgusting, like, never before seen, like, rule-breaking kit or abilities, whatever. They're fun to play. Don't get me wrong. These champions that they release, you know, like a Zeri or, you know, like Zoe kind of thing, you know, like Viego, like, you know, Silas, you know, like whatever. Essentially all those new champs like that they've released that have these, like, you know, Akshan, that have these like rule-breaking kits and abilities. They're fun to play. They're really fun to play. But holy shit, is it the most obnoxious piece of shit to face, like, ever. Like, it's so literal AIDS to face that I can't even begin to describe how absolutely obnoxious it is to face. It almost feels like they make the champion just from the perspective of the player, not the person facing them. Because again, fun to play, great champs to play, cool kids, really cool things you can do with them. Don't get me wrong, it's awesome. But God, dude, facing them is just, it's seriously just it's so annoying. It's so obnoxious. And the thing is, everyone picks them. Why? Because they're friggin' broken. Their kits are overloaded up the ass. You have to pick them. Like, you have to pick them. If you don't pick them, you're gonna lose probably. You have to pick them. So you're facing these champions every friggin' game. Every single game you're facing these champions. So you're constantly dealing with this bullshit. And it's like, sometimes it feels like the fun of playing the champion doesn't outweigh the annoyance of facing a champion. So if I'm playing Zeri and I'm facing Zoe, sure, Zeri and Zoe, they're both like these crazy champions that have these like, kind of, you know, weird new mechanics that try to break the rules or whatever. But it's still more obnoxious than it is fun to face a Zoe than it is to play Zeri in the same game, assuming you're, let's say, facing each other mid lane or something, whatever. You know, so that's the problem. So they're constantly trying to break the rules with every new champion, every new release that they're trying to, you know, and it's making the game more chaotic, more of a fiesta, more just crazy, stupid shit happening nonstop, left and right. That is just kind of like, what the fuck is going on anymore half the time? Let's be honest here. Like, half the time, it's like, what is going on? Then you have tanks, like, one-shotting people. I remember I was playing, and, like, you have, like, Orns and shit, like, full comboing squishies from, like, 100 to 20% and literally a full combo. And you're just kind of like, well, why is that even possible? So that's just kind of ridiculous. So that's kind of the problem, right? And, like, another thing I have an issue with is, what I just talked about with, like, you know, how Orns can, like, one-shot squishies and stuff is tanks are just, I don't know. I just think the overall concept of tanks in League of Legends is just wrong. Because it feels like Riot, in order to make a tank useful from Riot's perspective, it feels like they're like, oh, okay, well, in order to make this tank still useful, not just like someone that everyone can ignore, well, let's just give them a fuck ton of base damage. Fuck it. Let's just give them a shit ton of damage and let's see what happens. That's essentially the only way they can possibly think of making a tank useful. I think, personally, the whole tank class and system in League of Legends needs an absolute overhaul. It's a horrible system that is just not even a tank system. It's just people that are just happen to be kind of tanky with a lot of armor or HP, but they still do a fuck ton of damage. It's insane. You have supports that can, like, one-shot or, like, dual assassins for mid lane. like I remember I saw this clip of Stylish, and this is where I think where he really started to lose his mind and why he barely plays it anymore. He was playing Zed of course, and he was facing I think like a Shen or Leona support. Bro, he almost lost the 1v1 because that support was pretty much doing as much damage as he was. Why? Like it's just while being like so much more tanky. Like what the fuck is that? It's so stupid, right? So I think the overall tank system needs an overhaul. I do think that that system is just atrocious. A tank shouldn't be useful just by giving them damage. Like that's just ridiculous. A tank's purpose is to engage and create as much chaos in a team fight as possible through just abilities and what they add to the fights. Like I actually think a good tank is like a Malphite. A Malphite's a decent tank in a sense where he's very disruptive. I do think his damage is way too high, but like the kit kind of makes sense where, you know, it's just an annoying disruptive tank that can like alter a fight and just be annoying in that sense, where he can like, you know, reduce attack speeds, reduce move speeds, you know, get like a nice quick engage with the big AoE. Like things like that makes sense. But like when you have like these champions doing this while also within this CC, they also pretty much one-shot a squishy, well then you kind of start scratching your head a bit. It's not about whether or not they can one-shot the squishy, it's about how long can they annoy the squishy and take their attention away from doing what they actually want to do and essentially be a disruptor. They're not disruptors, they're just essentially tanky assassins. That's all they are right now. It's just weird. But going back to like this whole topic of like, you know, new champions and like all this kind of stuff and these champions being weird and annoying and obnoxious and crazy and overloaded and blah, 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 blah. 10 bans is the problem too. Why the fuck do we still have 10 bans in League of Legends? They added the 10 ban system like, I can't remember how long ago, maybe like 4 years ago now, 5, whatever the hell, whatever it was a while ago is the point. Dude, since that time, not only have they released insane amount of new champions and reworks and all that kind of stuff, but bro, like all of them are just, like I said, crazy champions, like crazy champions with crazy kits that just break the rules left and right. Give some more bans, man. Like what's going on? How are we still sitting on 10 bans? Give us more bans. How are we facing these champions every single game? How are you releasing this many more champions and we're still sitting on 10 bans? There's like 20 champions to ban nowadays, man. It's cringe. More bans. Who sits at Riot Games and decides that, yeah, 10 bans is still fine? Fire their ass. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Send them to Blizzard. That's apparently where people go that, they, you know, we don't know what people are doing. Apparently Blizzard is where it's at now. Where like, you know, you release shit games like, you know, World of Warcraft and like Overwatch 2 and shit, like just garbage games. Go put them there. Clearly they don't know what they're doing there anyways. You know, like let's not ruin Riot Games. Riot Games is a good company. They have potential, huge potential to the future. They're essentially the new Blizzard. Let's not ruin that. People that need to know what the fuck they're doing need to be working at this company. It feels like all the good people have just left League of Legends scene and now they're working at like, you know, the MMO and probably all these, you know, unrevealed projects, which I mean, in a way it's a good thing. I do think they should move on from League of Legends. The game is fucking done, you know, at least in the West. In Asia it's still big, and Wild Rift is actually pretty sick. By the way, Wild Rift is fucking sick. But it maybe makes sense, you know, just fuck League of Legends, take all the smart people, get them out of there, go on the new projects, sell as many Lux skins as possible, milk the game for what it's worth while you can, and then move on. Maybe that's what they're doing. Who knows? It's possible. Wouldn't make sense. Actually, honestly, I wouldn't even blame them. So overall, the state of the game is just very unfun. It's the first time in about 11 to 12 years where I essentially have zero desire to play. I literally just don't care for the game in terms of playing. Like I don't want to play. I think Riot is dropping the ball really, really hard, and it's sad to watch. In all honesty, again, for someone that's essentially my life changed from this game. Like my life completely changed literally from this game. Like I still love the game at its core, but it's just very sad to see what it's become. And I'm not making this video because I hate the game, like from that sense. Like at the moment, I dislike the game, don't get me wrong, but I'm doing it out of love for the game, right? If I didn't care much about the game, I wouldn't waste my time making this video because like who gives a fuck anymore? I care about the game. Like I want the game to not continue spiraling downwards. I don't think that'll, I'm not very hopeful anymore. Let's just say that. And yeah, so that's essentially what it is. And then if they have the client sucks. You know, there's just issues left and right, and it just makes you wonder, like, how is such a prominent company now? You know, they're a prominent company, they're a big company that makes an absolute obscene amount of money. How are they not able to hire someone that can do this stuff properly? It's insane. Anyway, all I'm gonna say is thank God that they have new games coming out, like the MMO and whatever else, the fighting game, whatever else they're coming out with. Because again, I think we all want more League of Legends. We just don't want League of Legends. That's just my opinion. So that's essentially what I'm thinking, guys. You know, I love the League IP. Arcane was probably one of the best, you know, animated series I've watched in a very long time. Like that thing was like, I can't even believe how good it was. Like truly, like it was like fucking phenomenal, amazing. Which shows that, you know, they clearly have smart people there. It just feels like they're just not on League of Legends anymore, is what it feels like. I'm just gonna be real with you guys. That's what it feels like. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. but I'm just basing it off of what I've seen, what I'm seeing so far, what they've told us so far. I don't know. It just really feels like that. I'm sorry. Maybe that's rude. Maybe it's not. It is what it is. This is coming from someone that's been playing the game since season 1. If it's rude and someone at Riot Games is offended by it, well, maybe you should start fucking doing your job. And then people won't have to say this kind of shit. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I'm so sick of like, it's so disgusting, man. It really is. But that's essentially what I want to say, guys. So TLDR, it's like, that's my thoughts on the game. Let me know what you think about the new series idea at the beginning. Am I going to be done uploading videos? No. But I am going to be, slowing down by, a fair margin, of course, because I just don't want to upload gameplay videos of like, ranked or anything. I'll probably upload, like news and things like that. Is the main thing I want to focus on. But yeah, so that's essentially the video. It's a long video, but I kind of want to get it off my chest. I want to get this kind of rant out. And I want to know what you guys think down below. So of course, I want to hear your thoughts. Are you in the same position as me? Do you have the same thoughts? Do you disagree with what I said? Do you think the game is fucking amazing right now and it hasn't been better? What do you think? But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.